Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Pat Jones Show. I'm Robbie Robertson, along with Oklahoma State head football coach Pat Jones. Oklahoma State went on the road this past weekend at Nebraska and lost to the fourth-ranked Huskers 31-3. But, Pat, really, this ball game came down to a couple of critical plays and was much closer than the score would indicate. Don't you think?
Robbie, the thing I think is encouraging to us, squad-wise and coach-wise, is basically we went up there and went toe-to-toe with a very good football team and really only blinked twice. Sure, we had the two kicks that were mishandled. Other than that, everything's happened about like we had tried to orchestrate it. Played about as good as we can play defensively. Offensively, under the circumstances with Ford, we're still trying to feel our way around somewhat. Discovered a few things, and I think we can take some of this and go with it. Had some really outstanding performances, which we'll see and talk about later. But for the people who did not see the ball game, they're going to be very interested in what's coming on here a little bit later. Because I thought, again, save the kick plays, this was a heck of a ball game.
Sure was. Oklahoma State against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. We will get started with first quarter highlights when the Pat Jones Show continues. It was cool and cloudy, and we even ended up having some rain in Lincoln, Nebraska this past weekend. Oklahoma State won the coin toss, deferred to the second half.
Robbie, we had a little bit of wind at our back. Of course, we were planning, which we did later on, try to kick the ball in the corner. Cary thought he could kick it out, and we got it back up there. And they are so dangerous with their kick returns. You can see we were extremely lucky that they didn't break this one. But this was not something we didn't know. Their answer to some of this stuff that we're doing was basically just try to hammer at us. And I think as things started happening, we got a little bit better at it, and they circled us right there, but they're good play by Fleshman. I thought Satterwhite, Fleshman, Richie Ainsley, and some of the guys probably played as well as they've played since they've been, at Oklahoma State University. Michael Woolridge right there, 47, did a heck of a job. You can see that we've got a lot of people up close to the line of scrimmage. This is not unlike what we had done against OU and not unlike what we had done at other times against theirs play by Joe King. But we had added a few different wrinkles and some things on the corners that were a little bit different for them. And I think it very definitely was a factor. Now you can see this is the first drive. Joseph tries to throw deep. Joe King had him covered. They moved the ball some, but the first possession now, again, they've driven it down. We force a punt. We had terrible field position all day long. That ball did hit in the end zone. I was afraid it was going to lock up on about the one, but we had really awful field position. You can see what we're trying to do here with Ford as far as some quarterback sweeps, sprint keepers, sprint out passes. Again, not trying to do anything real cute throwing the ball, particularly when we were backed up, and we were backed up most of the afternoon. Go for it on third down. Of course, this is stuff that they do themselves offensively, so they're going to be pretty well prepared for it. Blanchard comes in, does a good job of punting this ball. You can see he's punting it down the sideline, trying to pin him into the boundary. We've got nice coverage. Blanchard did a great job throughout the course of the afternoon punting the ball. Okay, now they come in, run a trap, not much. Like I had talked about to the media after the ball game, it was going to be real interesting to us to see how they were going to respond to this sort of style of defense. There's Fleshman right here. Other than the one option that Joseph breaks off in the second half, really they hit a few cracks. But I had the impression, and we had the impression as coaches, that they didn't have anything going that we couldn't solve. They had a little pass right there, third down and 6, and pick up a first down. They're going to drive down here and score. It's a pretty good drive on their part. You can see this guy here. Now, he's got some explosiveness outside himself. Good play, Joe King, knock him out of bounds. Probably one of the best things they did was just get him outside. All right, here's Flowers, and again, they were getting a blocker on a blocker, which is not real easy with some of this stuff, but you can see him, and at times we're just barely dragging him down, and he did get a crack and get into the secondary, but then again, they're running up in here and getting hit in the head quite a bit themselves, so they mishandled the snap. I still think that any time that you can force them into some stuff that they don't feel real comfortable with from an audible standpoint, then stuff like this occurs. They're liable to not execute as well on some of their basic running stuff, and by and large, they did a pretty good job. You can see he hit a crease there and goes in and scores. But throughout the course of the afternoon, even on this drive right here, Robbie, I didn't think that there was anything really that was going on out there tactically that we couldn't adjust and we couldn't handle. So I had to the distinct feeling that unless we started self-destructing, which we didn't do for a pretty good while here, that this thing had the makings of a real good ball game. They've got so much team speed that it certainly shows up in their kick returns. Okay, here's an option, get it pitched cleanly, and you can see we hit a crack. We've got enough formations now that we're featuring more option to get people a little bit messed up on their support. Kenny fumbles and we didn't get that handoff clean. They are so talented defensively. They can run about as well as anybody. I really think overall they're probably more talented and sounder defensively than even Florida. We skipped this snap back. Cary, again, we were punting the ball, trying to punt the ball down the sideline into the short side of the field. Can't really blame that on Blanchard at all. We had a low snap and he got the punt off, and they're running the trap, nothing here. But as long as they're in tight formations, two tight ends and a flanker is what you see right here, stuff like this, we've got quite a few people around the football, and they're going to bring their people in tight, so that just tightens up this whole situation right here. Tried to throw it, we had him covered down the field, dumped off. Roland Scott hit him right in the back when he threw the ball. Okay, now with their sprint draw, they were rotating their tailbacks around, and they had prepared for this. We knew they were going to be prepared for it. The question was, how are they going to respond to it? Okay, Richie Ainsley. Satterwhite again. I think Satterwhite played a excellent football game, maybe his best since he's been at Oklahoma State against quality competition. Turn around, pitch the ball on the sweep. We've got some people running free. Right there's Ainsley, right there's Satterwhite.
Fights off a block and then gets up and makes the tackle.
Again, Satterwhite is really a very good football player. Good play, Mike Clark. See, this was a big play, right? It was fourth down, yes, sir. Knock him out of bounds. We get the ball back. Okay, here's Kenny coming out. Nice throw on the run, and Mayfield dropped it. This, again, Curtis's hamstring had gotten a little bit better during the course of the week, still sore, but now at the end of the first quarter, Oklahoma State trails 7-0.
We'll be back with second quarter highlights right after this. For the most part, Oklahoma State did a good job of keeping that Nebraska crowd out of the ball game. We start the second quarter. Oklahoma State has the ball, 2nd and 5 from their own 35. Ainsley playing with that cast on his head.
Yeah, he's still, the thumb has been dislocated a couple of weeks ago and still hurting him. Again, hard to get, they run so well sideline to sideline, hard to really break much stuff on them. All right, but again, this type of deal right here, getting in different formations and pitching it and getting it on the corner is not easy to defend. That looks like a quick pass coming out. Now we deal the ball, and we'll get better with our execution as far as pitching and catching, but this stuff is a little bit fascinating, to be quite honest about it. Again, that's the way Cecil Wilson will get up in it. You can see the yards that we're making when we run right at them are not coming easy, but there are reasons that these people are probably the best defensive team in the country. Robbie, the grand plan, okay, here's a little bootleg pass. Tight end was actually open. We couldn't get the ball to him. Grand plan was to, I told the players, hey, take it 1 quarter at a time. Victories are going to come in small chunks here, and it's not going to be easy. But if we can stay in the ball game, nice throw, nice catch.
Great throw.
Again by Mayfield. But just take it 1 quarter at a time. Don't really worry about what the clock says as far as the score, and let's just go play. And really, again, with the exception of what we'll see later on, that's about what happened. Cecil Wilson, short yardage. Again, particularly when we were backed up, we didn't try to do a whole lot real fancy. We knew this. But this stuff right here, we're going to see a repeat of it. I mean, it's physically, it's demanding on the quarterback. But now you come out, and if some of this is called run, some of it is run pass option, but he's making positive yards and getting upfield. This mixed with other formations does give some people some problems. Again, it looks like we've got a crack, and they fill it so quickly. Walker, 57, Tyran's 40. They are really, really good football players. But this was not something we didn't know about. Couldn't handle the nose guard. Nose guard is a really good player. We got the second line in now. We went ahead and played them. Thought we could hit this. Actually, we ran over the official. Mark Walker, good catch. We only hit it later in the ball game. Kenny slips down. We had what we wanted. They were sitting back over there waiting on this. You can see there's that backside end right there. But the official, I think the umpire had gotten in the way, and I guess Mark just ran over him and came out of it. But okay, here we go now. Power ourselves. This was 4th down play. This is a big play. Somebody got stuffed inside, and Gerald could never really make a good, effective cut. And we're going for it on 4th down. It's a big play here. All right, bang, up inside. Tracy Price, we're rolling some people around. with what we're doing, this is such a physical ball game. We're playing about as many guys as we feel are good enough to win with at given moments. But you can see right here how getting a lot of people around the ball, and that's why I say we just went toe-to-toe with them, and heck of a job. This was a little old pass that we were really worried about if they caught us in a particular coverage. They did, but they couldn't hit it. Now there again, he hit a gash here. Well, this guy's a freshman. He's a good-looking back. He's, that's a little bit scary there. Okay, we had him covered. Again, this is probably as dangerous as anything that they do. Good play, Mike Clark. All right, George Bright, I think he picked up about 4 yards there. Okay, here we're fogging the gaps again. Almost hit a crack, but didn't. There's Satterwhite, 52, showing up again. Stacy, again, I've said this already, but Stacy really played well. Now they're trying to hit it in a seam and can't do it. We've got them stopped, come in, force a punt, kick the ball down into the end zone. Where we started field position was really very rarely any good, considering it. This end down here where we are, where they've got that large end zone, they continue to get louder and louder and louder. Good effort, Cecil Wilson. Good job of coming off the ball. Cecil played well, as he always does. Cecil Wilson's a very good football player. Okay, you can see it's hard to get the option executed because they can run so well and come off blocks so well. Quarterback draw, again, something to try to feature Ford's running ability. We're going to hit one later on, but
now this is a perfect example of the game plan as far as the punting game was
concerned.
Yeah,
they are so dangerous with their kick returns. Watch this. We're kicking the ball right down the sideline, and this is as well as it could be executed. I mean, you have to do those things if you're going to have a chance. Attaboy, Jay Fleshman, that's a way to stick it up inside. George Brack, good job attacking, but Blanchard pinned them right on the sideline. The guy catches it, steps out of bounds. That's a way to negate a good kick return if you can execute the kick, which we did. All right, good play, George Bright. So they, other than running up inside a little bit, they really hadn't hardly gashed us very much. Okay, that was a third down play, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
Stop them. Here they go. Nebraska punts again. Clark's going to get this ball caught. All right, now, let's get what you can. Take care of the football. Their coverage teams are very, very good. When you've got as much depth and as much team speed as they do, it will show up on their coverage units. Don't make much. Again, okay, there we go. Watch. Well, you couldn't. I thought they were going to replay Walker. Be interested if you want to see how a real guy can play right there. But he can run so fast, and that's a deaf youngster that they're really proud of. Okay, Kenny, good job of getting outside and making a guy miss you, and getting some positive yards. But Nebraska is very, very impressive defensively.
Come down to the final play of the first half. Kenny Ford gets a face mask call against Nebraska, but there was no further action in the first half, and we go to the locker room. Oklahoma State trailing Nebraska 7-0. We'll be back in just a minute. We're at halftime. Oklahoma State trailing Nebraska by a score of 7-0. Pat, I don't want to misquote you, but I think earlier in the week you had told the media that this was the best defensive Nebraska team you had seen in about 17 years.
I think they had said that early on, and I agree with them totally. As far as speed and athletic ability, they're a very complete defensive unit. They take a few chances, don't have to take very many as far as blitzing and stuff, but really, really run well. Very, very talented group and very veteran group.
Well, and this is an outstanding offensive Nebraska team as well, and yet as we take a look at the statistics from the first half, your defensive unit has done an outstanding job. You can see that Nebraska, 127 yards on the ground, just 142 yards total offense, and Oklahoma State has the ball longer than Nebraska, and this is against an offensive unit that is averaging almost 500 yards a game.
Well, this is the scenario, Robbie, that we were wanting to see unfold. Again, keep it close, play it one quarter at a time, let our confidence build. The thing that we could not ever get was really effective field position,
right.
But we were able to hammer out some first downs and hold on to the ball. Didn't put ourselves in real tough field position ourselves. Sure, Nebraska made a few first downs, but not a whole lot. As you can see by those statistics, and certainly the ultimate statistic is the final score, which we're well aware of, but things were happening like they needed to happen. I could feel it on the bench. I could feel it in the locker room at halftime. Again, and we told the guys, hey, don't really pay much attention to the scoreboard. Let's just go play ball. Just play. And we were. So, again, at halftime, we were very, very much alive. felt like we had a legitimate chance to win the ball game if certain things will happen for us.
I think the game plan, the players have to, and the coaches have to have confidence in the game plan, and it seemed like at halftime the game plan was going according to plan, didn't you think?
Anytime that normally, when you have a pull off an upset, you have to have a fanatic effort defensively. You've got to be able to play well defensively. Unrealistic to think you can just go outscore these guys 42-40 or something like that. They're too good. But we were playing well enough defensively to give ourselves a chance. If we had got a little bit better field position, we certainly could have maybe taken a few more chances, thrown the ball a little bit. We're backed up, really trying to be pretty careful about it. But again, it's all happening like we need it to happen at this point.
All right, we're going to come back with third quarter highlights. You stay with us as the Pat Jones Show continues. The temperatures are beginning to drop as we start the second half of Oklahoma State against Nebraska. Now, Oklahoma State had the option here in the second half, and obviously you want that football, try and go score.
You bet. Again, we came out of the locker room feeling very good about ourselves. Again, plan-wise, things are happening like we'd like for them to. Kicked the ball off short. Fisher takes it up inside, giving good efforts. I think this ball got knocked out here at the tail end. Or it does here someplace. Okay, turn around, run it on the sweep. But you can see their speed show up. There's 57 Walker. Again, the guy looks like he's every place because I think he had long jump like 24 feet. Okay, here you go. Now this is the big play in the ball game. We're going to see a repeat of it coming up here. The quarterback draw that we had seen earlier, trying to catch them in some man-to-man coverage and let their linebackers run out of there, which they just did. Kenny hits a crack, and now here you go. Kenny's not what you would call a blinding speedster, but he has got running ability. Now, those two guys that are trying to chase him could probably win a sprint race or two, but okay, Gerald Hudson getting up to that. Boy, Gerald, I thought Gerald fought pretty hard by and large. I can't fault his effort and really his competitiveness. Okay, here's Kenny coming out on the sprint out. Great catch, Robert Kirksey. I think Kirksey against quality competition, Robbie maybe played his best ball game as an Oklahoma State Cowboy. Cecil Wilson, attaboy Cecil, rambles up inside and makes good yardage. Here it is again. Again, we've got the first group in with the offensive line, cuts it back. When he can get a little bit of crack, he's really strong and a physical guy. And now we're moving the football. Here we come out, a sprint keeper, okay. Not much there. If we could have held a block a little bit on Cooper's really a good player, 17. Okay, now we're right down on the goal line, okay. Had it covered. This is the only time I think Kenny kind of, I won't say panicked, but couldn't find the open receiver and actually took a loss. We didn't want to. All right, quarterback draw. Sure, you would have loved to have fired away down in here, which we did have one pass called and they had it covered. But we wanted to make sure, if we could, that we did not take ourselves out of position to kick a field goal. Blanchard kicks it through. It's 7-3, and now, again, our guys are very, very much into this thing. All right, we're coming back now. Kick off to him. This one here, let's see what happens. Okay, see, we can kick it. All right, he reversed the field. See, we were trying to kick it a little bit farther over to the sideline. He reversed his field, and they got our coverage pinned back to the inside. Now they've got it over on our side of the field.
40-yard return for Tyrone Hughes.
Now they turn around, run a sweep, hit a crack. They hit a crack on us about twice here, once with the sweep, and I think one time coming up with the option. Fumble the ball, and it bounced right back to one of them. But that's a big play on their part. Give it off, nothing here, absolutely nothing. There's 52 Satterwhite again and a whole bunch of other white-shirted Cowboys around the football. All right, let's see. Okay, he comes back. All right, tries to throw a little pass to the tight end. This is a good-looking young player here. This number 86, fumble the ball. He makes a great catch later on down the goal line. But, again, stuff like this is safe stuff that they can kind of throw against this blitz. Good job, Fleshman, of chasing the football. Now they've got it. Short yardage, turn around and run the sweep. Nothing. You take a loss. Good play, Woolridge. There you go. We've got, you see enough people around the football. That's the way Woolridge just kind of torpedoing everything. Good job of hanging on. Come on, fellas. There you go right there. That's the way to get excited. They come in, kick the field goal. We had a chance to block that. Now, Nebraska has taken a 10-3 lead. Other than the play they broke, we're still very much hanging in there, playing well. All right, they turn around and kick off to us. We're going to get a little bit of a return here, if I remember correctly, with Mike.
We get called for a clipping.
Yeah, and this was a big call. The one time that it looks like that we're going to get a decent field position to start a drive. We had a clip call. Now we're running back off our own 10-yard line. Run Wilson up inside. Good strong run here. So you can see we're just kind of hammering away. Oh, we got a little bit scary there on that exchange between a quarterback and a fullback. We do recover it. Okay, come back out, trying to throw the ball to the tight end here. This got a little bit scary. They can break so well. They can really break on the football. Okay, Blanche comes in, punts the ball. Let's see what happens here. Okay, he's got it. There again, he can hit a cracker. We miss a tackle right here, but fast guys, good players are going to make you miss a few tackles. They've got it down our end of the field. Only big gash at the head. And this is where this guy, Mickey Joseph, you can see why he's emerged as their starting quarterback as opposed to Grant. When they put Grant in, it was obvious later on that he doesn't have quite as much big play potential. 17-3, but that is really the only time during the course of the game that they hit a gash and actually ran off and left us. Okay, kick it off. All right, here's Fisher again. Tries to bounce it to the outside. We had some slipping around going. We did wear the rain shoes. Pitch it, hit a crease. There you go, Gerald. But we did have some guys slip around. Again, they're playing on the same field we were, and we did have our rain shoes on. But all right, Gerald, there you go. Good job executing the option. You can see doing this sort of stuff out of quite a few different formations, about the same as throwing it down the field. Okay, quick pass. Attaboy Robert. Catch it, get it down. Right short of first down here, if I remember correctly.
Right,
at time,
3rd and 1 now.
3rd and 1 now. Okay, let's see what's going to transpire. All right, we turn around, give the ball off to the fullback. He makes a first. So we got now we're moving the ball. We're making some first downs. Sprint keeper. That's a way to be a runner. Take care of the football, get out, jump over people. I thought that we did a pretty good job again of featuring what this guy can do best, which take care of the football, Kenny. Get out there. That's all right. That's okay. Just take care of the ball and get out. But making some pretty good yards. Give the ball off to the fullback. Not much here. But, formation-wise, pitch it. Oh, see, we didn't pitch the ball quite as clean. This is something just is not real easy to do, particularly under pressure. But we'll get better at that. Okay, here's the same little pass we threw before. Again, I was standing there watching that. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, backside in, please don't make a good break on it. All right, but they did. Here's forward back. Cecil Wilson was open at the top if Kenny could have seen him. Again, that would, and he could have run a long way. He was not the guy we really wanted to throw the ball to, but he was standing out there. Okay, here's Blanchard coming in. Look at this. Right there. That's where the
15-yard line.
A great kick. Again, if you want to negate a great return game, that's what you do. Okay, they run the blast up inside, lead draw. That's the way Joe King. That's the way Charles Verner. Turn him back around the other way. Okay, turn around, pitch it on the sweep. Okay, not much here. Good job, Tracy Price. I think Joe King came up and torpedoed that. Same thing. There you go, right here. They're having to, again, other than that one run that we saw before, nothing is coming real easy for them. Okay, we had a little stunt on at the outside. Come on, Wool, get a hold of him. Come on, Tracy Price, wrap up, hold on. There again, Verner, get around him. But you can see it is not coming easy at all for them. All right, now, is this it right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Last play of the third quarter. I thought really from the sideline, and Mike is pretty sure-handed. Man, they can't pick it up and run with there. I thought from the sideline we had a block on, and they got down the field pretty good. I think Mike probably just took his eyes off of it just a second. Now, they hit a little crease right there, and he outruns. They got a safety pinned up. That's the way to go over there and hammer him, Mike. But they hit a little crack right here. Same play again. You see they come back and run it. Got the ball kicked. They did outflank the linebacker. I thought that guy had stepped out of bounds, to be real honest with you.
I did too.
Okay, turn around and run a sweep. Attaboy Joe King, hold on. Okay, got a repeat coming again. But even down here on the goal line, nothing is happening real easy for them. That's a way to chase the football, Roland Scott, Ainsley. So now it's 17-3, and it's still very much a game.
And we'll be back with fourth quarter highlights right after this. All right, we're getting ready to start the fourth quarter, and Nebraska knocking on the Cowboy door. 2nd and goal at the Oklahoma State 3.
I couldn't see this catch from the sideline. This is that same youngster we saw make the other catch over there before. He's a freshman, yeah. Really a good catch. They had the guts to throw it down there on the goal line, and the guy made really a great catch. Right now it's 24-3. Sure, you'd love to fielded that punt clean and gone in the fourth quarter. Ball game 10-3. This is really a shame right here. Come on, let's catch the ball. Just fall on it, man. Don't try to do anything fancy. again, I couldn't tell what was happening here from the sideline. I did see the ball ricochet out into the end zone. It's really a shame here. We deserve a better fate than this, but again, you mishandling it, bounced in the end zone. It's 31-3, and it just happened bang, bang so quickly there. Okay, come in and kick the ball off, and now the place is getting real loud, as it normally does up there when you've got a chance. Just down the ball in the end zone. Let's get regrouped and come on back out. Okay, come on, Kenny. I was afraid that was going to break and intercept that one. Again, backed up. We're trying to be fairly cautious with things, even at this point. I had told the coaches, Robbie, that hey, let's just go play ball. If Gerald had caught this clean, we had a good run. We had a good crease there. Let's just go play ball. I don't think we're really equipped with the personnel we got in there right now just to go back and rock and fire and throw it ever down. I don't think that's what we do best with this crew in there. Okay, first down, a little bit of play action here. Throw it down the middle. Okay, good throw, good catch. Again, I'm not going to say Kenny cannot throw the ball because he can. I think he'll get more comfortable with things. Okay, that's just the way. That's a way to set and throw. I won't say that's the best thing he does, but he's at times has got a decent arm. All right, come on. All right, now a little hitch and go. Robert Kirk's a great catch here. Attaboy, Robert. That's why I say, again, I think against quality competition, I think Robert really made some strides as far as going up and trying to get deep on him. Nice pump fake. Go up, and they had it for fairly well covered. This is the kind of catch you got to make. I mean, there's going to be a day that Robert's going to make that catch to win a ball game here. Good protection. That's a way to go up and fight for the football. Go up and catch it strong and come down with it and take care of it. And that's encouraging right here. Okay, again, here's the fullback. Not much, but he's making 4 or 5 yards on the play. Ford told me after, okay, here's a little bootleg action here. We had trying to throw again, get the ball out. They did have the tight end covered. Hold on, come on, Kenny. Got blasted pretty good. Ford told me on the flight coming home, Robbie, he said, the hand signs were kind of blurred from the sideline. I said, what do you mean? You don't need contacts or anything? He said, no, Coach, they were hammering me pretty good.
Yeah,
and, I was getting knocked around pretty good, which is understandable. Shannon Colbert, right
good
there.
Boy.
Attaboy, Cooper, wake up now. Boom. We got one of them, and they got us too. But this is the kind of ball game. This is the way Oklahoma State and Nebraska normally is. You're going to see a lot of collisions here. If we could have gotten that ball pitched, we had a chance here. We'll get better at this sort of thing. Okay, here he is. Okay, now he slipped. Doggone it. See, we had the thing. We had it. Now they had a different coverage on. The backside end wasn't sitting over there and waiting. We just had to slip down. It's just kind of part of it. Okay, Kenny throws here. Oh, I thought Curtis had a chance to catch it. Golly, this guy runs the ball all the way out of the end zone. Pickens right there. He's a good player. Good play on his part. I mean, he's a good football player. Okay, come back out. All right, run the sprint draw. Almost come out of it. The interesting thing, Robbie, I thought about us defensively, that's why I think we made some strides from a competitive standpoint. There were points where I think we could have naturally wilted just by the emotion, playing on the road and playing in front of that crowd, and we really never did. Now they're kind of getting a little bit fancy, which they sometimes will when they get a little bit of a comfortable lead, ran a motion and ran a screen to Grant out of the motion. Okay, Mickey Joseph comes back, tries to throw deep, okay, overthrows the thing. But we never did really wilt emotionally, and I think that's something that I'm proud of around this squad. Okay, tip, Charles Verner. Good interception, Charles. Get up the field, get to the sideline, take care of the ball, and let's go. This will do some things for Verner's confidence. Okay, Joseph sets and throws. Okay, threw it high. We got people around. That's the way you ought to have them on zone coverage. You ought to have people around the receiver. Again, a high throw or one that's tipped. Let some safety that's roaming around back in there intercept it. All right, now see, if we could have kept our feet there, I think we had a chance on the corner.
Well, it's raining now, and
yeah, it's raining. It's raining
a little bit
here.
slippery out
there.
there.
Okay, come on, Charles Johnson. You can see we're playing Charles Johnson, Shannon Colbert, these young receivers. I'm going to set your feet and fire. Okay, threw it in behind him a little bit. Yeah, it's handling the ball is obviously pretty tricky here because it was cold and misty and the whole bit here. Okay, kick it down the sidelines, get off a block right there. So dangerous with the kick return. Hughes and Grant, you're talking about two of probably the best better skill players around doing this sort of stuff. Okay,
you can see the difference with Grant.
Yeah, you really can. He made a pretty good run out of it, but it's nothing that's nearly as electrifying as when Joseph did. They got a little fullback, got a little bit of steam up there and kind of ran over a couple of fellas. Okay, overthrows that one. They weren't able to hit some of the stuff that boy Satterwhite. They bobble the ball, we get it.
Fleshman had another good
Fleshman
game.
play. Yeah, this kind of stuff, this type of ball game, I think is really where Jay can excel because he's a pretty physical guy that that doesn't mind mixing it up with you and likes to play close to the line of scrimmage. And again, when I think this is at his best, okay, get it kicked. There you go right here. Good play, Gerald Hudson. All right, come on, Kenny. All right, you can see different type of option actions. Boy, if he could have just pulled through that one. Hard to handle the ball. That's why I didn't want us to just to fire it down in there and let them start running back interceptions. Again, the football team, good play, Derek Jones on covering the punt right here.
We get a break here, roughing the kicker against Blanchard,
That's exactly
so we
right.
retain possession.
Roughed it, okay. Vernon Brown tried to make a cut and couldn't, but they've got some of their second defensive unit in, which are still very good football players. Play action comes back. Now this is the only time I thought was really Kenny made an ill-advised throw. Good play by Derek Jones on the interception, but just kind of fired it in there. That's again not what we do best at this point with Kenny in the ball game. But again, competitively, we're still battling. They've got Grant in there. Come on, Roland Scott. That's the way to run around. Good job here. So now they're going to come back, run some play action themselves. Yeah, you can see Grant has got some running ability, but he's not, again, anything that's just going to take your breath away. Forced Nebraska to punt, had a block on. Okay, they get it off. Let's just catch it right there. Attaboy. Again, now they didn't, they had a whistle already blown, but if competitive, that's what I was talking about. Mike Clark right here, that's where Kenny got the ball stripped away. But Mike, after fumbling that one, comes back in the ball game, catches it to 10. So that's sort of thing here is good. They got some other fella in the ball game at quarterback. I don't even know who this is. And
Haas is his name.
Well, I'm still not sure who the guy is, but here again, they've got some other folks in there. They're just kind of running offense, but we're still battling around. Okay, he comes out, tries to throw it, fires away in the end zone. Nothing's going here.
Calhoun with the pressure there.
Really didn't want them to score down in here, and I guess that's just from a pride standpoint. Sure, he does hit a little bit of a crack, and okay, pitches the ball on the ground, but again, our defense, our whole football team deserved a better fate than what this final score indicated, Robbie.
The game was much closer than 31-3. We'll be back right after this. Oklahoma State loses to the fourth-ranked team in the nation. They'll probably be ranked second in the country after what happened to Miami and Tennessee over the past weekend. But let's take a look at the numbers. And, Pat, these are really telltale signs, it seems to me. Nebraska gets 266 on the ground. They're averaging almost 380 yards a game. They only get 51 yards through the air, and for a ball club that's averaging almost 500 yards per game total offense, you hold them to way under that, and you have the ball for almost 8 minutes more than they do.
Well,
with the exception of a couple of plays.
I did not read the final stats, Robbie, on the play and come back. The time of possession surprised me a little bit because that indicates that obviously we did not have good field position, but we were able to hammer some things out. And I'm looking at the big picture, obviously, Robbie, and I guess I kind of shot my mouth off a little bit, which I do maybe every now and then, to the Nebraska media from the standpoint that most of the guys that we took on this trip will be up here again. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't trying to sound like Douglas MacArthur or anything, but we will return. We'll be back to this place again. And from the standpoint of being able to do what we did, and I'm well aware that we didn't win the ball game, and the final stat is that scoreboard, but this is very encouraging against these guys. And for the young people, we took some extra freshmen just to let them experience this situation up there. But I think we got some things done. Again, I said first week of the season, nothing's going to be easy for this football team, and it's not the rest of the way through. But we got some things accomplished against the Big Red of the North. And I think that'll have some lasting effect. And, yeah, we will go back. And I think the guys that were there are looking forward to going back.
Well, it seemed to me that for that environment, 174 consecutive sellouts, it gets pretty rowdy in that place. And for a lot of these young people, especially on your defensive unit, where you win championships and that sort of thing, what an experience. And they really did hold up pretty well up there.
Well, I'm going to be interesting, Robbie, to see how these stats compare with what we've done with them really from 83 on. And again, I'll repeat myself, sure, we won't try to win the ball game, but at the state we are, the way the program is right now, we got to look at the big picture down the road, which we are, I am. And again, we got some things done up there, and sure, our guys will remember this, and they will go back up there with a pretty good taste in their mouth as far as what it takes to go up there and win a game.
Exactly. Kenny Ford got his first collegiate start against Nebraska. It's never easy to start against Nebraska, especially in their house. But Kenny Ford played pretty well, and he provides us with our play of the week this week. It came on the second play of the third quarter.
Quarterback draw. Again, got him in a different man coverage, and they ran out of there. Kenny hit a crack and takes off running. Again, what he does best is this sort of thing. Again, either up inside or out on the corner. And that's a good job, Kenny. Let's take care of that ball. That a boy right there. Again, they were catching him, long run. Kenny Ford, I thought from initial performance, and Kenny came up after everybody cleared the locker room. I was pretty neat, Robbie. He came up and said, "Hey, Coach, I really appreciate you letting me start at quarterback against this football team in this situation." Well, I just thought, hey, sure, Kenny's the guy that we're going to go with here for a while. But Kenny did a good job of preparing mentally, and I think really competed hard and was very tuned in to the ball game, both in his preparation and once the thing started.
Well, I know he feels like that he could improve, and there's certainly room for improvement on everybody's part. But under those circumstances, Pat, it didn't seem like he made very many bad decisions.
I don't really think he did. There's some things that will get better, and probably a little bit unfair to him and our offensive unit, as talented as Nebraska is. Again, I've seen us go up there before and be really, I felt, inept against a Nebraska defensive unit. I didn't get this feeling. Sure, we'll get better at some things, but again, we did some things that do give him and the supporting cast a chance.
All right. You stay with us. The Pat Jones Show will continue right after this. There is an old adage that says something about behind every good man there is a good woman. We wanted to see if that adage applied to the Oklahoma State football team, so we went to kicker Cary Blanchard to help us with our research, and we found that old adage is true. Mindy Blanchard watches an OSU football game a bit differently than most fans. She gets excited and cheers at all the right times, but her interest in Oklahoma State football is centered around number 25, Cary Blanchard, the kicker. Carrie and Mindy were married on January 6th of this year. For some players, marriage might be a distraction. It has posed no problems for Carrie, especially in regard to his game day preparation.
I don't think I prepare any more than I did. I think, every time after the game, it helps me to have somebody there and, and just have somebody to come to if I had a bad game or if I've had a good game and somebody on my side all the time.
Mindy gets into the games. That's her husband and her team out there playing. Mindy's a graduate of OSU. Some people make jokes about kickers. They say they aren't really athletes because they rarely hit anybody or make a tackle. But don't tell that to Mrs. Blanchard.
I think he's got a very stressful position because he walks out on the field and it's Carrie makes it or Carrie misses it. And plus he has to depend on a snapper and a holder, So I think it's a very stressful position and it's a very stressful week before the game.
Good kick. Carrie has had a great career at Oklahoma State. He is the Cowboys' third all-time leading scorer. He is the seventh leading scorer in Big 8 conference history. Now, Mindy is no expert when it comes to football, but she is learning.
I knew nothing about football when I met him. I was kind of like, how many points do you get for what? And now he teases me now. I'm a big critic, he says, but I really don't know what I'm saying. So I just kind of, shouldn't that have been? Or what do you think about, I try and ease into it like I know what I'm talking about.
She still doesn't know how long my punts are or my field goals are because you add 7 to the field goal and you don't add the 14 on the punt. It's from the line of scrimmage, and she's still all messed up with that.
And 17 to something.
No.
Oh, I don't know. I always ask my dad. I turn around the whole game. What was that, Dad? Is he kicking or punting,
Mindy understands football and the Blanchards go together. Even when this season is over, football won't go away.
After the season's over, I'll still be practicing and still be kicking the ball and hopefully get myself a chance at the NFL team, and hopefully go pro.
It's scary for me, but I think it's wonderful for him, and of course I support him whatever happens. Of course I want it for him. It's his dream, and it's all he's ever worked for. Gosh, I don't know. Big things have changed. The blue-gray game's coming up. All of this is so new to me. I'm along for the ride, I guess. I don't know. It's exciting.
bet before this season is over, Mindy figures out how long field goals are, punts are.
Well, I think, again, I think this gives a little bit of an insight in you know, guy's a college student, guy's a college football player, obviously at a very high-profile position. Like Mindy was talking about, when the kicker runs out there, you know, he's the guy. I mean, that might not be necessarily right, but that's just kind of the nature of it. Yeah, Carrie will have a chance professionally. I think right now he's got a real chance. He has already accepted a bid to play in the blue-gray game. He and Curtis Mayfield. Maybe there'll be some more of that stuff coming up. But he's really got a chance. And again, ironically, because we did this piece right now, and I thought he did as great a job of executing certain kicks yesterday against Nebraska as you can do it, as it possibly can be done. Guy's a very talented kicker, very good football player. Again, he does make some plays. He's an intense competitor. Sometimes he's a little bit harsh on himself, but that's all right too, because it means that he cares about it. She's a good person, and I think this is a very, very good blend, and it's just something that shows people there is more to it than simply going out there and kicking a football, and you're dealing with your family life and everything that goes on with a guy that certainly is married, is a college student, all that sort of thing.
And he certainly did make a tackle on the first play of the Nebraska game, so there. You stay with us. The Pat Jones Show will continue right after this. Everybody in the Big 8 Conference had conference games this past weekend. Let's take a look at what happened around the Big 8 this past Saturday.
Robbie, I thought this would be a close game at Norman. Now, the end result does surprise me, and I don't know much of the particulars of it, but again, the Peterson, the Iowa State quarterback, had been hurt earlier, is returned. I don't know how he got all those yards, but he did have some. But I thought it would be close. Again, the final outcome does surprise me a little bit. Colorado went up there. I thought this might be a little bit closer game here, but Colorado apparently jumped on Kansas pretty good. Missouri and K-State at Columbia. Missouri, which we'll continue on talking about, I think offensively is a very good football team. They really do a good job of throwing the ball. Kent Kiefer, the quarterback, is talented. You know, we beat them, 1 point last year, and they go for 2 to try to win 31-30 game. Defensively, they've given up some yards and points, but they're pretty big and pretty strong. Their throwers and catchers and their offensive unit is what really concerned me, and I have seen them on film against some other people. You know, Bob Stoll up there and those guys have done a pretty good job going back. If they win that ball game that they probably should have, I guess, against Colorado, they have them a little bit of a run going here other than Nebraska really hammering them. But I think offensively, they're very, very scary. Homecoming, I think it's a pretty opportune time, Robbie, for us to come back and play at home. We've been on the road 2 weeks. Homecoming's a big deal. Here it is for us, it is for the players, always have good crowds. I would like to think, and I think the Oklahoma State fan is as proud of our football team as I am as a head coach, and we are as coaches for what we have got done at Lincoln. So let's come and enjoy yourself for the weekend. You got the parades, the floats, you got the Missouri Tigers in town. Hey, let's come and enjoy yourself. Don't try to coach, let me try to coach. You know, okay, just come and enjoy things. All right, and let's see if we can get after the Missouri Tigers, bring your kids, and let's have a big time.
Well, the Oklahoma State Cowboys have been making progress as evidenced by the Nebraska game. So now the Cowboys are home for back-to-back ball games this coming Saturday against the Missouri Tigers, followed by another home game against the Kansas Jayhawks. So hope to see you at Lewis Field. We're out of time. For Pat Jones and Oklahoma State University, I'm Robbie Robertson. Goodbye, everybody.